Note this council is collaborating with the government by putting forward 2 areas for consideration as investment zones. How does Councillor Pandor justify support for investment zones when planning controls will be disregarded, environmental protection is reduced, net zero ambitions are ignored, and the requirement for affordable housing is swept aside? Investment zones are opposed by a wide range of organisations like the Wildlife Trusts, the RSPB and the National Trust. Why is Kirklees supporting this appalling Tory proposal?
Councillor Pandor.
Very good question, Councillor Cooper. And you raised the same question yesterday, or a few days ago, yesterday. Time flies. In this job, right, you don't get a weekend, days just merge into one. But the question you raised yesterday, and I think that I gave you a response, but I'll just try and repeat what I said. As a leader, you always have a choice. And when you're in the cabinet, you also have a choice. And as far as my view goes, is that the investment zones is a way to kickstart the economy. It's also a way to level up. A lot of the investment that takes place is down south. You know, I'm not saying for 1 minute that we need to actually throw all the rules and regulations, all the lobbies that are putting pressure on us to just ignore that and go roughshod through the planning process. But one thing I will support is where government invites any council, including Kirklees, to put forward their ideas and their plans where we can actually benefit from government funding. Then I will not say no. And I think any leader in my position who actually puts communities and regeneration and housing and employment and jobs and skills will do the same thing. These are just initial submissions, Mr. Mayor. All the 5 West Yorkshire leaders have put forward submissions, and I will make sure that I will do whatever I can to bring forward the projects and the plans that we have, which everybody knows about. But there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge. These are just ideas. I don't know what government will come back with in terms of, you know, are we successful or aren't we? But we will be in a competitive environment. The other 5 West Yorkshire authorities are actually punching at the same way as I am. It's not just about West Yorkshire, it's also about East Midlands, it's also about Greater Manchester, it's also about the North East, it's also about the South East, and all the other 11 male combined authorities. But having said that, we will make sure that we are accountable to our public. We also are accountable to the council chamber, and I, for one, will not do anything that contradicts planning policy. Actually, we can't, because the law is the law. We have to make sure we uphold the same standards. So I hope that answers your question, but I know your supplementary will be that are you colluding with the government? It's not colluding with the government at all. It's actually supporting the government who's trying to make sure that we address the cost of living crisis. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Pandor. Councillor Cooper, do you have a supplementary question?
Which have turned down investment zones because they recognise the issues with them. Now, I've heard what you've said. You've talked about kick-starting the economy, you've talked about levelling up, and you've said that you will not ride roughshod over the planning process. Now, the whole point of investment zones is that they do ride roughshod over the planning process, that they ignore the local plan, that they are not accountable, and that local people are ignored as a result of it. That is the proposal. And there are no benefits that come to this council directly from investment zones. So I ask you again, knowing that, which you should know, why are we even entertaining a scheme like this which will damage our local environment, provide no affordable homes and provide no benefit to the council? Why are you doing it? Why are you supporting the Tories?
Councillor Pandor.
I will support any administration nationally, be it my government or even the Greens. They might get in power one day, or coalition government. But on a serious note, Mr. Mayor, you know, we are talking about jobs, we are talking about investment, we are talking about skills, we are talking about infrastructure, and I have not seen anything that actually says that the government will actually break the planning rules and regulations. These are just initial ideas, Mr. Mayor. Can I?
Councillor Cooper, can you let him finish, please? Thank you.
I know Councillor Cooper is very passionate, Mr. Mayor, about how he sees the world. Yeah? And I share a lot of his values. But at the same time, we owe our communities, we owe the great people of Kirklees, we owe the future generations, like we were talking about, and Councillor Smith, to make sure that, we provide a future that they can flourish on. Like, I've got 3 kids. Now, every single parent wants their children to have a better life, a better standard of living, than the previous generations. The way we are at the moment, that possibility is diminishing. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that we create a future that's better for every single child, no matter who they are. And this is part of that, I think, Mr. Mayor. The investment zones are an opportunity. We should be celebrating that the government's actually invited local authorities. If local authorities are not actually embracing this, then, I would be asking them, what is your plan? What is your vision? What is your future? What is your solution to address the cost of living crisis? So there's a lot of water to go under the bridge. There's a lot of detail to work up. But let's see what comes out. Let's see what comes out, and then let's see what the details are, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor.